The lights will change to get the race underway, and Christopher Mies it is in the green Audi, a length up as they go racing now up towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Maxime Martin in the BMW tries to get up the inside of Christopher Haase there as they dive through Paddock, but he couldn't quite do it. Everybody safely through so far. Now the climb up towards Druid's first gear hairpin. Martin to the outside of Haase, desperately trying to find a gap, looking for track position on the inside downhill to Graham Hill Bend. This is Boguslawski's view. Cars all around him, but off the road, there goes Marin Angeli. That was the silver pole winner being forced out wide, but it's Mies in the lead.
Yes, and for Boguslawski, he's made up a position not because he did anything good, he just kept out of trouble. How trouble was carried on ahead of him. But Maxime Martin almost managed to get his BMW between the two bodies. And again, a lot of hip and shoulder as the cars exit out of Surtees on to Pilgrim's Drop, then all the way down to the very bottom, then the climb up to Hawthorne. And again, be careful, don't try and go around the outside, it's slippery, lots of rubber, so just filter back into line and then make your opportunities later in the lap.
Dries Van Voor, you're on board with there, hustling on in that red and white BMW out of Vincent Voss's WRT stable as he makes the run now up through Dingledale towards Sheen Curve. He's attacking, he's defending, but the race leader, Christopher Mies, has Christopher Haase and then Maxime Martin tucked up behind. Lamborghini number 60, I should say, is from Pereira, the car that he shares with Jordan Pepper as they come now down towards Clark Curve. This, again, on board with Dries Van Voor, turning to Clark Curve. Nicholas Critton's car just up the road ahead as the leaders come by, the two Audis edging clear of Maxime Martin at the end of lap one. Martin, of course, being urged on by all the Valentino Rossi fans who can see his car in that third place. But the gap between the top two, 0.3 of a second at the end of that opening lap. Down towards Hawthorne's lap two, clock ticks on down, back on here. Look, the Audi being squeezed a little bit towards the grass on the outside line, but keeps on coming then. Side by side, diving into the corner, Lorenzo Patrese tries to go around the outside of Vermeulen, who gets the Ferrari in the gravel and into the barriers, and off he goes. He's going to be able to keep it running and rejoin. So Thierry Vermeulen does get back onto the racetrack, but he's thrown away an absolute bucket load of places.
Yeah, he was under threat coming into Hawthorne. He decided to fight it, and he ends up being the loser. I think he maybe sideswiped those barriers, so there won't be too much damage. Look, there's 80. Timo Boguslawski knows he has a job to do to get this car, the 88 Mercedes-AMG GT3, up as far as he possibly can during his stint. He'll probably only do a 25-minute stint. The maximum stint will be for Raffaele Marcello, who will then continue the progress that's made from the 88.
And the Lamborghini here on the outside line, contact turns 163 sideways. And that was Rolf Eijken, who's had a pretty torrid day. He's been a magnet for everybody. Audi off there in the gravel. You'll keep your fast driver in for as long as possible. But that, number 9, is Alberto Di Folco off the road, the Gold Cup winner in race 1. And that looked beached to me, and I rather fear we might be getting an interruption to the race.
Well, if there is going to be an interruption, will then people take advantage of that to dive into the pits?
So this is what happened, John.
Well, trying to go the long way around, up in, and of course the Audi just one comes across the front of the other. I mean, not a great place to try and go around the outside of a competitive car, simply a car the same as you're driving, and then sideways, the worst possible way to go into a gravel trap, because all you do is just bury the left-hand side of the car, in this instance into the gravel, and you're sitting there motionless, waiting for a snatch vehicle to come and recover you and get you back.
We go racing again at Brands Hatch. Green flags fly, racing again. Mies, Haase, Martin, the top 3. 4th is Gilles Magnus, the Gold Cup leader. And the leading silver is still Frank Bird in the blue Mercedes AMG that goes through Paddock Hill Bend in 12th place. You're riding on board with Dries Van Voor. You're 9th, heading up towards Druid. Patrick Niederhauser's Audi ahead, going one side and then the other to try to find a way past Giacomo Altuve's Ferrari.
There's nothing Dries Van Voor can do. He can just sit there, watch the Audi ahead, watch the Ferrari ahead of that, and the rest of the field further up the road. He's just stuck. The pace of these cars, the aerodynamic effect, just simply the balance of performance has brought everything so close together. I mean, Brands is a great circuit, but it's difficult as a racetrack. On board now with Boguslawski, heading down towards Clearways, goes to the outside, thinks about the inside, doors open, go, 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 Timur. Gap has opened up for him, he's got the nose of the Mercedes alongside the Audi. He's being followed along by the Lamborghini there as well. You can see a Marcus Pavaren, but Timur Boguslawski goes through. Pavaren thought about making it 3 abreast, going up towards Paddock. That was never going to work, but Timur Boguslawski goes through, goes wide, hooks the wheel almost into the gravel, but he's done it, he's gained ground. And Lorenzo Patrese is not going to give up the position. He's being forced to, because he's been forced wide up in Druids. So the Lamborghini gets through. The first of the 2 Hondas tries to follow through as well. So, you know, Patrese he hung on and hung on and hung on. Eventually he had to concede.
And in the background, look, Vermeulen is having to go with Delina. It was the Ferrari he had last time. Whoops, contact there. That was Patrese being given a little bit of a whack by Jacopo Guidetti going on to the Grand Prix section. The pit lane is now open. The window is open. So Patrese, look, he's got
puncturing on the left rear puncture, I think. I thought I saw blue smoke coming from the rear of Patrese's car.
I think it's the bodywork pushing against the tyre. I don't think it's gone down, but you're right. The bodywork has been pushed against the run-up. He's not got the pace for the moment, but that might be an incentive to get him in before it does go back. So they break the beam. Ricardo Feller has come in, so has Altway, so has Van Thor, so has Von Pereira.
And my bet stays on. Christopher Hasse has opted to stay on.
Boguslavski is in, which makes sense to get much yellow into the car. That's Van Thor to Weert, so that gets Dries out of the traffic. Thomas Neubauer in behind him to give way to Jean-Baptiste Simonard. And look, that's Raffaele Marciello in the white overalls climbing into the third of those cars, replacing Timo Boguslavski.
And there's so little room in the pit lane. You've got a, was it a 4-metre box? You can get a 5-metre, 6-metre box.
6-metre box
You're
for a
allowed to park
5-metre
your car in.
yeah.
Boguslavski looks around, tries to find a way to get to safety because his car is filling out left, right and centre. Oh, Marciello, wow, that was not an unsafe release, but he comes out behind. That's not the 32, that's the sister car, that's the car that Neubauer just put in.
That's right, Simonard's car. He's ahead in turn of Albert Costa of Altway. So I reckon that 14 is the one that's dropped back on that pit stop. Again, Emil Frey lost ground in the pits in the earlier race, and Consta Lapalainen takes over number 14, but it's lost ground in the pits. All of this will unravel, of course, as everybody serves the mandatory stop, but it does rather look as though the number 14 Ferrari has lost out. In now comes Haase, and in also comes Maxime Martin. So Valentino Rossi is ready. So too is Lucas Leggeret. So two very important pit stops here. In the background as well, Nicolai Kiergaard is in to give way to Benjamin Goethe. And Christopher Mies now leads Gilles Magnus, both staying out for as long as they possibly can. BMW arrives, Rossi opens the door, and he's good to leap on board.
Yes, and this is the opportunity for WRT to work one of their miracle pit stops to leap from the Audi that came in alongside and try and do something that would elevate them.
Here comes Mathieu Drudy, so it's going to be on the road, the Audi of Drudy, to take over the lead as he comes over the timing line. Valentino Rossi will go second, Charles Weerts will go third, Benjamin Goethe will go fourth round the outside, so Gregoire de Moustier fifth. And Lucas Leggeret is about to relieve him of that on the run up the hill. They left Mies out for too long because the cars on fresher tyres were lapping quicker. Raffaele Marciello, in the meantime, is up into 8th place. Now that, again, partly thanks to the pit stops and strategy, has really played in his favour. So that car now is doing a great job as the cars now sprint down towards Hawthorns, swing their way through the corner.
Yeah, but what's he going to do with the BMW? Callan Williams, he ain't any slouch. And again, race. Oh, come on, get through the inside on the grass. Marciello tries, and the BMW's been annexed. Where has it gone to? It's trying to slip through in the 27 Audi. So wow, what a job by Marciello. He made a lot out of very little at that opportunity.
And that was Marciello with two wheels on the grass, dives up the inside of de Moustier, who just runs out of road. And this is Rossi, who is on target for his best ever finish for second place, if he can hang on to it, and it will be a great result if he can do it. Right, look at the battle pack here behind de Moustier. Big dive up the inside there, look, by Consta Lapalainen, who goes through, gains the place.
Great and courageous move, saw the opportunity, called napping, and that's what happens sometimes if you're not aware of this sort of spatial awareness when you've got traffic around you.
But he's just done that to Jordan Pepper, Lamborghini factory driver, got his hat nailed on.
Oh, he's off on the gravel. Is that up again?
That's a Sheen Curve.
Sheen Curve.
And it's the other Boutsen VDS Audi. It is Adam Eteki, and he's dug himself all the way through. He's on the grass. He's going to be able to rejoin. So there's a local yellow flag, but the race will be able to continue. Now he's got to find a gap in the traffic. The car squirms its way back towards the racetrack, and he has rejoined.
Well, good marks for doing that. But look at the gravel coming out of the back of the Audi. So anybody following is going to be peppered with all that gravel. Let's look again and see. Well, that was again a move against the Ferrari, and never ever going to work because he just got too much of the car on the ground. Wow, up in the air.
And this is also number 31, the Jean-Baptiste Simonal BMW. Albert Costa to the inside. Take that.
Will that be looked at, because that was a definite tag by the Ferrari on the BMW.
This is Valentino Rossi, who is set for his best ever finish in Fanatec GT. But let's get the leader across the line first of all, because it is going to be a race win for Riccardo Feller, who started, and for the Trezor Orange 1 team, the Attempto Run Audi, it is Mathieu Drudi who brings the car home to win at Brands Hatch in race 2 in Sprint Cup. Valentino Rossi, his best ever finish. He's second with Maxime Martin, and Valentino Rossi is a delighted man, understandably. So also is Maxime Martin.
Well, this is the race that Valentino Rossi has come of age. He's shown that he can sustain the pressure. He didn't make any mistakes. He gets a second place podium finish. He will be over the moon, as is the entire WRT BMW team.
Let's look at the results of race 2 then. 1 or 2 penalties perhaps lurking in the system, but provisionally, Mathieu Drudi and Riccardo Feller win at Brands Hatch. Nearly 4 seconds clear of Valentino Rossi, his best ever finish. Maxime Martin, his co-driver. Charles Witz and Dries van Thor take third ahead of Benjamin Goethe and Nicolai Kiergaard. Lucas Legeret fifth, with Christopher Hauser, and sixth, Raffaele Marciello and Timur Boguslavski. The winning gold team, Callan Williams and Nicholas Cruton, they came home in 7th place. Go to 16th and you'll find the winning silvers, Baptiste Moulin and Marcus Pavarud in the VSR Lamborghini, coming home as category victors. Race winners, Mathieu Drudi and Riccardo Feller. Valentino Rossi and Maxime Martin take second and third to Charles Witz and Dries van Thor. The champagne awaits. Mathieu Drudi, Riccardo Feller celebrate their win in time-honoured fashion. And Valentino Rossi on the car racing podium in Fanatec GT for the first time. Make sure that everybody knows that he's a happy man.